everybody. So, do you remember the old Seinfeld comedy TV show? In one episode, Jerry Seinfeld's father introduces Festivus, the festival for the rest of us. It's a Christmas alternative. And one part of it is the airing of grievances. So, today is our Festivus episode on the channel. And I'm going to have a little rant about software repositories. Why I keep my code where I keep it. So, there are a couple of big names. I mean, you can just keep your code on your own website. That's perfectly fine. Unless you're already famous, nobody's ever going to find it, though. So, let's start with SourceForge. The name is a bit misleading. You can put source code on SourceForge, yeah, it's possible. But it has evolved, and nowadays SourceForge is more a place to put your binaries, your executables, your zip files, your jar files, rather than source code. There still is quite a lot, but sometimes it's on its own Git. Let's see. On its own Git facilities, and sometimes it's in a zip file. You sort of have to look for it. You know, it's a bit complicated. So yes, I use SourceForge and I use it to distribute my binaries, because SourceForge has an unprecedented number of mirrors all over the world. It all works automatically. Whether you're in Australia or Alaska, you know, you get my binary from your nearest mirror. So that's useful. All right. Then, of course, GitHub. And I used to use GitHub, still have an account on there. All my stuff is archived. I don't really use it anymore. I use GitHub every day. It's where I go look for code to creatively appropriate for Haiku. And I think most of the stuff I've compiled come from GitHub. Aside, if a GIF file is actually a GIF file, is GitHub actually GitHub? Never mind. But I don't actually use it for my code anymore. Well, this started when it was bought up by Microsoft. Now, don't get me wrong, I will use Microsoft tools when they're appropriate, you know, bringing down the master's house with the master's tools. But obviously, Microsoft thought like the huge big corporation that they are, and decided that just having an account with a password was not good enough. Yeah, they had to introduce this very complicated new setup, and you had to install a whole new thing called a authentication manager, and I get it. If you're writing code for a nuclear power station, then you want to wrap that behind as many layers of security as possible. But I am a hobbyist. I make my stuff available on public domain. I make it available on the WTF public license. Only one line. Do whatever the beep you feel. So that already put me off. And then a couple of other things happened. So while this was pushing GitHub to the side of professional corporate programming, there was also a movement in the completely opposite direction. GitHub was discovered by Programming 101 professors. And if you now do a search for Hello World on GitHub, wait for it. Okay, come on. There we are. There are 273,000 repositories for Hello World. Now, Hello World is the first thing you write when you learn a new language. It's a silly old computing tradition. But 273,000, I mean, all clogging up disk space, right? And then the next thing is a Snakes version, a Tetris version, and yet another reimagining of VI. So GitHub is getting clogged with poor quality student work. Yeah, I'm sorry, some of the students write great stuff. Maybe you're one of them. Okay, but there's just too many of the same little projects. And sometimes I see the course requirements just cut and pasted into the README file. Yeah. And then you'll say, okay, let's click on this one because I suspect it would be a good example. This is Hello World in JavaScript. No description, website, or topics provided. Well, at least this one has a README. Doesn't seem to be very expansive. It's in Chinese. I can't read it, but that's my fault. But, this sort of thing, sometimes there won't even be a README file. There certainly is no installation notes here that I can see. It's written for a university assignment, and like students in all times, in all places, through the centuries, they do the absolute minimum required. Okay, so, yeah, 273,000 Hello World. Okay, so the final thing that I'm seeing on GitHub, not so much on the others, is that projects are being updated literally every 15 minutes. And you download it and it doesn't compile. Not even close. 15 minutes, there's another update that also doesn't compile. Now that could be because my own skills aren't that great, or it could be that they're using Git as a backup system. So please, if you're going to use Git, whether it's on GitHub or anywhere else, have your own backup disk and upload to Git when you've got it in a state where it will actually compile. Okay, end of rant. All this put me off GitHub. I don't use it anymore. Now, quick word about GitLab. I've still got an account on that somewhere, but I find this very user unfriendly. I mean, this is the front page. If you just want to see what's on there, let's see. Here's a search. Okay, let's search for. Okay, let's not insult our intelligence. And let's see, spreadsheet. To search repositories and projects, log into GitLab. That's right. GitLab won't let you actually search the repositories, because here we're only getting news items, without logging in. I'm sorry, that is user hostile as far as I'm concerned. So, where do I keep my code these days? And the answer is Codeberg. And I find it very user-friendly. I find it nice to work with. If you find that you've made a little error in the README file, you can just edit it right from here. You don't first have to download it, edit it, and upload it again. Just do it on here. I like that. Maybe possible in GitHub. I haven't found that facility yet. Here, it's right there in your face. And I'm seeing a movement, a small movement, that more people writing for Haiku are using this one. So I suggest you have a look at it and see if it could be useful for your results. It's free. It's registered in Germany as a public utility, whatever it's called in your country, a non-profit company. And so, yeah, for the time being, this is where I keep my code. And then I put my binaries on SourceForge. Because the number of people who want to see my code, is very small. Hopefully the number of people who use my binaries is larger. So at the moment that makes sense for me. Okay. So this has been my little rant about what to do with your own Haiku programs, scripts, texts. Where should you put it? One man's opinion. Okay. I think we should have a little talk about next year, but let's make that a separate episode. See you again.